Hey everyone, welcome to another training video on AZ-500 Microsoft Azure Security Technologies series. In this video, I will discuss the Manage Identities and Access Learning path, in which the module Manage Authentication by using Microsoft Entra ID is covered. In my previous video, I covered Manage Identities in Microsoft Entra ID. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe the channel to get the latest updates and hit the bell icon for the notifications. My name is Navneet Kumar and I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. Without any further ado, let's get started with Manage Authentication by using Microsoft Entra ID. Authentication is the process of knowing who you are to ensure that only legitimate people gain access to the corporate applications or resources. When we have the hybrid connectivity requirement, then we can use a tool called Microsoft Entra Connect, which was formerly known as Azure AD Connect or Directory Sync tool. The purpose of this tool is to synchronize the identities from on-premises to the Entra ID. The Entra Connect is a tool that can synchronize not only the users but groups or the devices as well. Microsoft Entra Connect on-premises applications for hybrid identity goals consider cloud-managed solutions. Microsoft Entra Cloud Sync. Microsoft Entra Cloud Sync is a new lightweight tool. Shortly, I will discuss more about the Cloud Sync tool, how it can help you to do the configuration for the synchronization of identities from on-premises to the cloud, and why this tool is the future of hybrid cloud synchronization for the identities. Features: password hash synchronization, pass-through authentication, federation, and health monitoring. These are the core capabilities of these tools to do the hybrid connectivity. We'll discuss about each of them in much more details in the coming topic. Microsoft Entra Connect Health, robust monitoring for on-prem identity infrastructure to ensure the reliability for accessing Microsoft 365 and online services. Microsoft Entra Cloud Sync is actually used for hybrid identity solution to synchronize the users, groups, and contacts to the Microsoft Entra ID. Benefits of using this tool is it supports multi-forest environments. In case you have multiple forests in on-premises, it can be used for it. Simplified installation, multiple agents for high availability. Different from the Entra Connect Sync, and in terms of orchestration in online services, it is lightweight. Its configuration is stored in the Entra ID. Talking about the authentication methods that are available to configure the hybrid identity solutions, number one is Password Hash Synchronization, also referred as PHS. In this, the users from on-premises are synchronized to the Entra ID with their password hashes. It gives the same sign-on experience to the users because users having the same username password in on-premises and same in the cloud. To access the cloud apps or on-prem applications, they use the same username password, which provides them a feel of having a single account or single sign-on, but actually it is not single sign-on, it's same sign-on. It's like having same username password on two different applications and using the same account to access the two different applications. Next is pass-through authentication. For an instance, if the organization says that we cannot allow you to sync the passwords or password hashes to the cloud, what will you do in that case? So pass-through authentication is a second method in which we set up the agent in on-premises for the Entra ID. Entra ID will contact this agent every time to validate that whether the password provided by the user is correct or not. Federated authentication is a sort of federation where the authentication is offloaded to the on-premises system itself. The authentication takes place in my on-premises, the token provided by the on-prem federation servers is trusted by the Entra ID. It provides the true single sign-on. When it comes to decide that which authentication method suits to your requirement, this decision-making tree can help you understand the required method of authentication. If we start from this starting point at the left top, you see in the green. Number one, you have a question to ask, that is, do you want Entra ID to handle sign-in completely in the cloud? If that is the case, then you will be going towards the password hash sync. But if you do not want the complete authority or complete sign-in experience from the cloud itself, you want something from on-premises, your password policies, or maybe the authentication itself, then go for alternate options. If your answer is yes, then do you want to enforce user level Active Directory security policies during the sign-in? If this is the case, then go for alternative. If no, if you are good with the password policies provided by Entra ID, do you have a sign-in requirement not natively supported by Entra ID? You see some of the statements here, the conditions 3 or 4 in this. So they have each different requirements. So do you have a sign-in requirement not natively supported by Entra ID? For an instance, you want physical smart card authentications. It is not supported natively in the cloud, in the Entra ID. For that, with password hash synchronization, actually, it is supported with the federation. You need to look for federation in case your company is using smart card authentication. Well, if your answer is no, I will not be depending on that, then password hash synchronization is best suitable for you. If you say, yes, I have that dependency, then go for federation, because only federation can offer this. Then if your first point question's answer was no, that you do not want Entra ID to handle everything, do you want integrate with an existing federation provider? If you have, then go with federation. If you say no, so do you have a sign-in requirement not natively supported by Entra ID? If your answer is again yes, then go for federation. If your answer is no, do you want sign-in disaster recovery or leaked credentials reports? If your answer is yes, then go with password hash synchronization as a failover option with pass-through authentication. So use PTA and as well as the pass-through password hash synchronization. Whereas if the failover requirement is not there, if your on-prem infrastructure fails, your pass-through authentication agents have outage and you can tolerate this, you can suffer with that, then you can go with only pass-through authentication option if you are not looking for a failover option. And if you are looking for everything being handled in on-premises and the password policies, the smart card authentications, all that I need, then I should go with federation. Now in federation also we have two options. If we are looking for a disaster recovery solution, then we should go with federation with password hash synchronization. Password hash synchronization is a failover plan. Whereas if that is not required, then you can go with literally federation. You will find the link for this decision-making tree in the description of this video for your further reference. If you have any questions, please do let me know in the comment section. Password hash synchronization is the process where not only the users but their password hashes are also synchronized and stored in the Entra ID. It provides the benefit of same sign-on to the users because users have same password in on-premises and in the cloud. Benefits include improved productivity, reduced help desk cost, and leaked credentials detection. It requires setup with Microsoft Entra Connect and configuration of directory synchronization. How does that help with the leaked credentials detection? Because you are going with password hash synchronization, you are syncing the password hashes, authentication taking place in Entra ID, Entra ID security features can be implemented, detailed reporting, auditing can be done, machine learning based features can be used to detect any anomalies. So this can reduce the chances of the leaked credentials. Whereas the second option is pass-through authentication, and it is for scenarios where organizations cannot synchronize the password hashes of their users because of the regulatory compliances, organizational security requirement. They cannot sync the password hashes to Entra. If they cannot do this, then how Entra ID will validate that whether the password provided by user is correct or not to access the cloud applications? In that case, an agent is deployed in on-premises. This agent, you can say, is of Entra ID. Entra ID contacts this agent and checks every time the user authenticates that whether that password provided by user is correct or not. Since Entra ID is not having it in its local data store, so it will always reach out to the on-prem Active Directory via this agent. The agent will use ADFS like API to contact the Active Directory in on-premises and will validate that whether the password is correct or not, or has been expired, or whatever the status of the user's password or authentication is. So password hash synchronization is hybrid identity sign-in method. This reduces passwords, boosts productivity, cuts help desk calls, enables leaked credentials detections, integrates with ADFS. We have seen those options actually for password hash synchronization, but the pass-through authentication has its own benefits I discussed. Federation is a trust that is configured between multiple domains, and we do it either for business to business collaboration or within the organization to offer the single sign on so that users can use the single credential or identity to access different applications. When it is set up with on premises, we ensure that all the authentications take place in on premises. Entra ID will offload all the authentication tasks to the on-prem federation environment or federation servers. By having that, we can have all our password account policies being enforced, and also the smart card authentications or any other specific requirement we have from our identity management solution, we can apply them. In a nutshell, we are offloading the authentication tasks to our on-premises, offering the users the single sign-on experience to access the enterprise applications or the cloud applications. This is the federation and the purpose of doing the federation with Entra ID. As you know, in the beginning of this video, I discussed about the decision making tree on authentication method we should use. You will find different conditions that require the federation setup to be done, and mid-size or enterprise organizations primarily prefer to go with the federation. But yes, this can be used with password hash synchronization as a failover solution in case you want. The link has been given in the description of the video for making a decision about selecting the authentication method in Entra ID, be it password hash synchronization, pass-through authentication, or the federation. Microsoft Entra authentication can be done in different ways, and one of the method is through the multi-factor authentication. We can authenticate the users. It's a second factor of authentication. In fact, the first factor is someone you present by providing username password. This is to prove that you possess something, be it a verification code or a text message, SMS, or code in the SMS, of course, or a call you want to receive, or you can approve a notification you have received through the Authenticator app. The app is available on Google Play Store or Apple App Store. If you have not tried it yet, download it on your mobile devices and set up for your work or school accounts or your personal Microsoft accounts also, you can use it. This lets you perform the multi-factor authentication and reduce the chances of the fraud on the identities. For implementing the multi-factor authentication, we can leverage the conditional access policies, wherefrom we can control that on what conditions, be it the particular application or a user or group condition, I want to enforce this multi-factor authentication. So we can create a conditional access policy to enable the Entra ID multi-factor authentication for the groups of users. Configure the policy conditions that prompt for the MFA. This policy condition is actually a trigger. It can be the geolocation, the network, the IP, or the platform of the device. Can be different factors. I have done a detailed video on conditional access policies. In case you want to see, you will find it on my channel. Test configuring and using the MFA as a user. MFA registration is also an important task, so prioritize this requirement of this MFA for your organization and let the users register for it. Next is passwordless authentication, and this passwordless authentication can be done in different ways. As the term suggests, passwordless, you do not provide the password. Then how will you authenticate? To do that, either you will use a physical device, which is FIDO, fast identity device you can use, FIDO2, or we have the Microsoft Authenticator app. We can use the text messages through the phone we can do. Okay, so Windows Hello Authenticator, FIDO2, or certificate based authentication options are available that we can use to perform passwordless authentication. This is considered as the best authentication method today in terms of securing the identities. So leverage this passwordless authentication and secure your identities from the attackers. Each method provides the seamless, secure access without the traditional passwords being provided every time you access the applications. Implementing the passwordless authentications, Microsoft offers the passwordless options through 4 methods I discussed recently. Authenticator Hello, Windows Hello, actually you provide a PIN instead of password, FIDO2 keys, and then the certificate based authentications. Passwordless methods enhance security, they mitigate the password attack risks as discussed, and deployment includes the planning, pilot testing, then user registration for that and managing these. Talking about the password protection, this is a feature that lets you set up some password protection patterns. You can provide the pattern of passwords that cannot be used by the users while setting up a password. This pattern can be to mitigate the chances of users using commonly known passwords like a company name at 123 or etc. I have done a video also on password protection. In case you want to see, you will find it in the Microsoft Entra ID series I have done. There is a playlist, you will find the video, and I will put the link in the description for your reference. Now, the points that you see below highlighted are in terms of hybrid setup. If you have on-premises Active Directory and as well as the Entra ID integrated with the Entra ID Connect tool or Cloud Sync tool, and you want to leverage this password protection feature, then this is the process. Like a service connection point will be required, then the proxy will be there located, the Microsoft Entra ID password protection proxy service, and then the DC agent sends the password policy, it keeps it in the cache, and then this DC agent will use that password policy to ensure or check when the password is reset by the user whether it meets that requirement or not. Single sign-on is the true advantage of the federation. That is why we do this. This allows you to access multiple applications using the single account. Today it is very common. You see commonly, application providers provide this option to you to access their applications through different accounts you already have. So continue with your Facebook, continue with your LinkedIn. So some of the attributes from that token or claim has been provided to the application provider. It authenticates you through that and lets you gain access to the application. So the frustrating journey of sign up can be mitigated by this, and user retention or new user acquisition becomes easier with the with the single sign-on configured. Users need not to sign up on your app. They need not remember another username and password. You can implement this single sign-on. The process enables or process requires that you have legitimate permissions to do this. Certificates that will be required for the security assertion markup language that is used for this federation. The communication is there. Keep users informed about SSOs. Yeah. Integrate single sign-on and identity providers. You can integrate your cloud-enabled SaaS applications in your Entra ID. There are thousands of SaaS applications that can be set up on Entra ID tenant and can be used. Use the application network portal to request the SCIM, which stands for Cross Domain Identity Management, and enabled applications to be added to gallery for automatic provisioning. Or use the SAML, Security Assertion Markup Language it stands for. OpenID Connect also. These are the authentication protocols used by Entra ID. Industry standard authentication protocols they are. Introduction to the Entra Verified ID. This is very popular concepts these days, and this is actually to reduce the frauds. Well, what this Microsoft Entra Verified ID is, the Entra Verified ID enables you to offer a decentralized identity service, which means that there is a digital wallet. Your privacy is respected. The security is offered through this digital identity management. It allows you to store your details in a digital wallet, and this digital wallet can be shared selectively without revealing the unnecessary information to the application providers. Using this cryptographic technique, the credentials can be verified by the third parties without contacting the issuer of this identity. So this increases the security, it reduces the frauds, and provides the interoperability across the platforms. That's what the solution offered by Microsoft Entra is, Entra Verified ID with this digital wallet. Which digital wallet do you use? To let me know in the comment section. Configuration of this Microsoft Entra Verified ID. So gather the tenant details and then download the sample code, configure the verifiable credentials app, update the sample application. Okay, these are the ways to do this. Recommend and enforce the modern authentication protocols, be it Windows Hello for Business or Authenticator app or FIDO2 security keys. You get security, high usability, availability with all these three options. Primary authentication, yes, as a primary authentication method you can use. Secondary authentication that you can do is MFA, or the condition is with Windows Hello for Business can serve as setup MFA credentials by using the FIDO2 authentication. Then MFA and SSPR, self-service password reset, is there with Microsoft Authenticator app, and MFA we can do with FIDO2.